Chris Bishop in reply.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Can I start my reply speech by just thanking the kind remarks of members around the House, both tonight but also 2 weeks ago when we started the first reading of this bill, and it's good to see that I think the bill will have unanimous support, certainly at first reading, to go to the Health Committee for further consideration. Particularly thank you to Barbara for her kind remarks. I also, at the start of my speech, want to acknowledge my friend and colleague, Michael Woodhouse. Good to see you in the Chamber, Minister, and thank you for your comments and for explaining the genesis of this bill, because the Minister's comments about why he was motivated to introduce the bill, or try to introduce the bill back in 2010, are very similar to my reasons for taking the bill on from Mr Woodhouse. Perhaps not with the personal connection that Michael has, but certainly I have been moved by the appeals and the calls that have been made to me from people in the Hutt Valley about the hardship that they have undergone after donating organs, in particular a kidney case that I'm thinking of right now, and those experiences motivated me to pick up the bill from Cam Calder, who had it temporarily, who took it over from Michael. So I've taken over your bill. I seem to be taking your staff at the moment as well. Although health and safety, you can take health and safety. I want to, just in reply, deal with a couple of the issues that were raised by members. Firstly is the issue of where the bill should go, whether or not it's appropriately placed at the Health Committee or the Social Services Committee. And let me just say quickly that I think it's a sort of finely balanced debate. The argument about sending it to the Social Services Committee is that ultimately the money is paid out through the Ministry of Social Development, and so it should go there. But I take the view that ultimately we're actually dealing with fundamentally a health issue here. And the other point that I would make is that a lot of people, and members may have seen this in the media, some members do have issues with the way in which the Ministry of Social Development deals with this, and I think it's worthy of a wider discussion about where the money comes from and how it's distributed, and I think the Health Committee is the right place to do that. Secondly, sir, just dealing with the issue about the Attorney General's report under Section 7 of the Bill of Rights Act. Members will be aware that the Attorney is required by the Bill of Rights Act to provide a report to the House before the first reading if the bill is unjustifiably inconsistent with the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act 1990, in his opinion. And in the case of this bill, sir, the Attorney has provided such a report. And the reasoning for that, sir, having read the report, is really a technical, I would say, drafting issue about the treatment of beneficiaries who also work, and their treatment vis-a-vis other beneficiaries who don't work, and vis-a-vis their treatment of ordinary working people. So the argument made by the Attorney is that there is discrimination against beneficiaries who receive welfare support but also work, and there's differential treatment on the grounds of their work status, which is a prohibited ground of discrimination through the Human Rights Act, which is then imported into Section 19, I think it is, of the Bill of Rights Act 1990. That's a fair enough point of view, and actually it's one of the strengths, I think, of our Bill of Rights Act system, that an issue like that can be advertised to the House's attention so that it can be considered at the Select Committee process, and so that we can have a conversation and ventilate those issues, both in the first reading but then also at the Select Committee, and try and, if we can, as much as possible, iron out some of those issues and make the bill as rights consistent as possible. So as Kevin Haigh rightly said, I'm looking forward to the Health Committee considering that issue in its consideration, its deliberation, and I'm hopeful that we can work out a way through so that it's not inconsistent with the Bill of Rights Act when it comes back to Parliament. Thirdly, sir, just on the issue of organ donation rates, which was raised by Kevin Haigh, and he said, well, actually, as far as I'm concerned, we have essentially increased our organ donation rates from deceased donors about as much as we can. And again, that's something that I think the Health Committee will have a look at. I'm not sure that's necessarily the case, but what he's right about in saying is that we do need to increase the donation rates from live or from living donors, sir. Our organ donation rates are about half that of Australia's. They're about a quarter of Spain's. As I said in the bill's first reading, sir, this bill is not a panacea to some of those issues. It's not a silver bullet. That can never be achieved by members' bill.
The member's time has expired. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Financial Assistance for Live Organ Donors Bill, first reading.
The question is that the Financial Assistance for Live Organ Donors Bill be considered by the Health Committee. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Oh, a fairly predictable point of order. Jami-Lee Ross.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the House has made very good progress today, and in light of the fact that there's only a couple of minutes left, it would be rather unfair on Mr O'Rourke. Can I seek leave for the House to rise for the end of the evening?
There appears to be no objection to that. There is objection. There is objection. Okay. Well, the member better not be trifling with the chair in order to take the time out, because if he is, he will be treated as being disorderly and punished for it.
Mr Speaker, I have a new point of order. Mr Speaker, earlier in the evening I raised with you the question about split voting, and also the question about the timeliness by which split voting, the names of which members who split voted should be provided to the chair. The standing orders, Mr Speaker.
Order. The member will resume his seat. That matter has been dealt with adequately. I call on members' order of the day number 3. I call on members' order of the day number 3.